Alright, we're back. We're in the home stretch with the history of Bond, folks. Two films left, one after this one. And, so, before I continue, I mentioned in my update video, my latest episode of Sky TV. If you didn't see it, Franchise Friday is going away for the last two Fridays of this month. I just can't get into those movies. I just can't. I either fall asleep or I want to do something else. I just can't get into them. So I've decided, and I didn't say this in my Sky TV video, but I'm saying it here. For the next two Fridays, today, on the Friday you're watching this, and next Friday you're going to get a history of Bond. Alright? You're going to get Skyfall today, Spectre next week. Alright? And then I'm waiting till I see No Time to Die and put that in here before I do any more rankings. I'm going to do top 10 Bond themes, maybe Bond girls, top 10 villains, ranking all the Bonds, ranking all the films. Gonna be big. I kind of already have my top 10 in my mind, especially after this one. This one's gonna be up there. But yeah, so let's talk about Skyfall. Hold on. Skyfall. Forgot to grab that. Bond. James Bond. So, Skyfall picks up some years after Quantum. I mean, the movie came out 4 years later, so it could be 4 years later. But, Bond is on a mission, and you can already... There's no gun barrel. It's like the last two. Well, the first one had a gun barrel, but, you know, Casino had a gun barrel, but, no gun barrel. And at first I was like, I put the disc in, and it started playing, like it showed the Columbia, Sony, TriStar, whatever. And then it went, and it goes, dun, 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 and it shows Bond walking. I'm like, is this the menu? No, it's the movie. Okay. And we have Bond. I don't remember where he is, but he's tracking down this guy who has something. It's like I think it's a thing that has the names of all MI6 agents, I think, or something like that. And he's trying to track this guy down, chase him. And we have Eve, who is on the mission with Bond. And we find out later she is more important to the film. So, before I continue, now let me continue this part. So, we got, he's got an earpiece, and he can talk to Eve and to M and stuff. And then he gets on this train. There's a fight on the train. This guy, they almost get their heads cut off by the tunnel, and they're fighting. And Eve is there with a gun, a rifle. He said, I have the shot, but it's not clean. M tells her to take the shot. Take the bloody shot. She takes it. It hits Bond, and he falls into the water below the bridge that they're on. And I initially thought, so this is what the Skyfall is about. Beginning of the film, he falls. The sky, I guess. No, we get the meaning for that. And it really is kind of weird to me why they would name it that, but we'll get there. And yes, we get the title sequence by Adele, who I'm not a fan of, but I did like this song. I don't know if it was the song itself or the fact that it was accompanied by this fantastic title sequence. The whole title sequence was just fantastic, and it worked great with the song. It's not the best, but I think it's the best female song just behind, she's the best female singer in this. Yeah, the best female song behind Gladys Knight's License to Kill, and then, of course, Goldfinger by Shirley Bassey. But it's good. it's fine. I've never really liked Adele because most of her songs are very slow and it makes me sleepy. Except for I set fire to the rain. That one's a little more pumping. But other than that, she puts me to sleep. This actually kind of works for me, you know? But, yeah. So Bond is dead. And, yeah. In a movie, right? No. Of course not. Before I continue, though, this was the 50th anniversary. This came out 50th anniversary. And unlike Die Another Day, they didn't shove a bunch of, callbacks to older films in the series in your face. They subtly did things. Adding some key characters, a few, callbacks here and there, but it's not blatant like that one was. But yeah, and so we now follow M, and the last director, the guy who did Quantum, he wanted to involve M more. This film does that too, but I think better, because we have a story that kind of caters to M, because she's connected to the villain. And I really like that. Give Judi Dench something to do in a film other than sit behind a desk. Which is what she did in most of the Brosnan films. She walked in, and all the M's, there was a time they didn't do much. But there were times that they went out into, different places. M mostly stayed behind a desk or is in a building waiting for him. But she actually gets to go out and do stuff in this. She's more involved, and I like that. So the MI6 building gets blown up when they're not there, and it's done on purpose so that she can witness this. Bond finds out about this as he's in some foreign country, drinking some alcohol out of a glass while trying to get stung by a scorpion on his hand, banging some hot chick, and then he finds out about MI6 and he comes back. And yeah, we find out that for some reason, even though M knew he wasn't dead, she still treated it like he was dead. Sold his flat, got rid of all of his belongings. They're in storage. And I do like the banter between them, and he's like, I guess I'll get a hotel. And she says, well, you're bloody well not staying here. I do like that. They have some good scenes together in this, Craig and Dench. Including one that made me cry. We'll get to it. So, he's put on the job. He's a little unsteady. Because, he was shot in the arm. Here, I think. And he's a little shaky. But M passes him anyway because M believes in him. And he sets off to Shanghai to meet with the quote-unquote Bond girl of the film. Whose name I cannot pronounce because it's French. It's Séverine. I can't pronounce her actress's name because it's French. Séverine. And for the first time in, it seems like forever, we get Bond girl smoking on screen. We get smoking on screen. I think Die Another Day was the last time we saw someone smoking on screen with Brosnan smoking a cigar, which I still say doesn't make any sense when you think about the Tomorrow Never Dies and the Filthy Habit line. But yeah, she doesn't actually smoke it though, which I noticed. She just holds it. She doesn't actually puff on it or anything. She just kind of holds it, which I think is a prerequisite. We're going to have this girl holding a cigarette. She can't smoke it. She can only hold it. And I find it weird. Like, it's all the way down. And then she somehow, between scenes, lit a new one. She's carrying a bigger one around. And it's kind of funny, I think. And so Bond talks to her about getting some money. And he says, when we're done talking, they're going to kill you. So he fights off these thugs. And, she tells him, if you make it out alive, this yacht, yada, yada, yada. We'll have the bang booms. We'll have fun. Whatever. And he beats up these guys, and there's a fight with Komodo dragons, which I thought was pretty cool. And I like how this guy is not even paying attention, and he has Bond's gun, which of course is catered to his touch, so he can't fire it. And then the Komodo dragon eats him, and then Bond jumps off at the other Komodo dragon. And yes, there's CGI, and yes, there are times that you can tell, but it's a really funny scene. And then Eve is there, and he gives her the thing of money, and he goes, bet it all on red, and walks off. And then we see that Severin is there on the yacht, and she's worried if he's gonna show up or not. And then the guy comes in and goes, "Oh, we gotta push off, ma'am." And so she's like, "Okay." And then she's in the shower, and then Bond just comes in there on naked and stuff. And you know what happens. I ain't gotta tell you what happens, but you know what happens. There's also a question on whether or not, because Eve helps him shave, and there's a question, especially once you find out something at the end of the film, whether or not they actually slept together, because they don't show anything. And once you find out something at the end, which we'll get to, it makes you really question. And let's just say that some of the stuff at the end of this film kind of shocked me. Such as, and what I forgot to mention is, on the way to Shanghai, there is this young man, Ben Whishaw, glasses, and he said he is the quartermaster. And I'm like, that's Q? Q is an old man. That's Q? Okay, sure. I wasn't expecting a young Q, but I guess it works. And he's alright. I like the banter between him and 007. It's not as good as the banter that Desmond Llewellyn would give, but you expect that, right? But yes, and that's kind of our first knob, because he says, "What do you expect? An exploding pen? We don't do that anymore." I'm like, "Oh, okay, you got that one." So, so yes, and so Severin is gonna take him to see the villain on this remote island, which does kind of remind you. I think it was intentionally. It kind of reminds you of Dr. No, strange villain that you don't really see. An island out there, an exotic location, and I do like the introduction. Like, they get taken apart. I like the introduction of Raul Silva, played by Javier Bardem. It's one long single take of him walking, and he has this long speech, and it's really good, and it's a fantastic introduction to him. And we find out he's actually a former MI6 agent that died while working with M or something like that. And we find out that he tried a cyanide pill, which didn't work. It just melted his teeth. Which I think the cyanide thing is also supposed to be a callback to Dr. No with the cyanide cigarette. But I don't understand how it just melts your teeth, though. That's what's confusing, but I don't know. That's not the only thing about Silva that's confusing. But Bond is able to subdue Silva, but not before Silva kills Severin, which is like, okay, wow, that was quick, she's dead, okay. You could actually argue that Eve is the Bond girl of this film, but once you find out something about her, you can't really call her that, so if you really think about it, M is the Bond girl. I know, it's weird, but especially during the last half of the film, she kind of is. So we find out that Silva, he's after M, of course. And so he's captured at MI6 headquarters, this new place in a tunnel that they're in. And then we get the most elaborate escape plan ever. So for this plan to work, so here is what happens, alright? Silva is being captured. He told Bond that he has this device that can do anything he wants it to. He tries to bribe Bond. Bond says no, of course. And then he's captured. This is before he's captured. And he's captured. M plugs this thing in to the MI6 database. Bad idea. not M, Q. Q plugs in this. I meant to say Q. Q plugs the thing into the MI6 database. Bad idea, Q. Desmond wouldn't do that. He'd probably throw it away. But I don't need this contraption. But he plugs it in. That's what starts the thing up. And then it like, messes with everything. Silver's able to escape. He gets out. He has henchmen. They go into the tunnels. He gets into onto a train. Bond follows him, and I do love the dialogue where Q is trying to figure out if it's him on the train. And he's like, "Do I get on the train? Just a minute. Do I get on the train? Hold on, 007." And he goes, "Bond, what? Get on the train." But he's already, the train's already taken off, so he jumps on there. And I love the line from the guy that goes, "Well, he's in a hurry, isn't he?" or something like that. And so he's like pounding on his door, "Open the door," and he says he's health inspection. Can he not say he works for the British Secret Service? I was going to mention earlier there were cops following him in an earlier scene, which I thought was interesting because I don't usually see the cops getting involved unless it's J.W. Pepper. We're not talking about him. This is a good Bond movie. Anyway, well, Live and Let Die was good. But, so anyway, Bond chases him through the train car, and then chases him down through a tunnel where he hears an explosion, and a train comes barreling through, stopping Bond from getting to him. And, so at this point in the film, M is at a court hearing for MI6, in a court hearing. And Mallory is there. Mallory was introduced earlier as someone who's higher up than M, I guess, within the British Parliament, I think. I don't follow politics, but he is there. And Silva shows up, and I do like that before Silva shows up, M is quoting Tennyson, and she's basically saying everything about Bond as he's sprinting to get there. Silva comes in, he starts shooting, he points the gun at M, but Mallory jumps in and gets shot in the arm, and M is able to duck down. Bond comes in, and then Bond shoots the fire extinguishers, causing an explosion, and they're able to get out. Now, let us go back to the beginning of this plan. So, everything I just said was all planned out by Silva. Now, not only did Silva have to be captured, but he also had to plan on Q putting the thing in the database, being able to catch the train on time, Bond following him in the train so that he can lead him to the tunnel where he would have a train that is there to go through the holy blasts with the dynamite so he can get away and try to kill him at the hearing. He planned all that, claiming to know all about Bond, but didn't know that Bond would immediately shoot, to get an explosion, the fire extinguishers. Come on, man. But they get away, and so Bond decides. This is where the surprises just kept popping up at me, alright? Because this first one made me just go, yes! So Bond decides he needs to take M somewhere safe. To Scotland, of course. But how do they get there? Well, Bond pulls out a car. It's an Aston Martin DB5. But not just any Aston Martin DB5. The Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger. Now you may be asking, how does he have that car? Because he got his car, his Aston Martin DB5, I think too, from Le Chiffre, right? So how does he have the exact car from Goldfinger if this is not in that continuity? To that I say, shut up. This was a yes moment. As soon as I saw the car, and I'm not big on cars, I knew that was his car from Goldfinger. I love Goldfinger. It's even got the rockets and the ejector seat stuff. It's the car from Goldfinger. That's how you do a nod, Die Another Day. That's how you do a nod. So he takes her to Scotland, right? Is it easy to get from England to Scotland in a car? I thought they were all on separate islands. Or is it easier to do? I don't know. Guess they're right there, right? Is it England, Scotland, Ireland? Are those three there? I don't know. But anyway. I don't know geography, apparently. Obviously. So he takes her to Scotland and we meet the caretaker. Played by Albert Finney. I don't remember the guy's name. But the producers actually thought of getting Sean Connery to come back. But decided not to because they figured that would be too much of a nod. Like it'd be too on the nose. And who knows if Connery would have actually come back to do it. But Albert Finney was pretty good. And so they get to this place, Bond's childhood home, and it's called Skyfall. And I'm sorry, but that's a stupid name for a house. I'm sorry, it is. Like, Skyfall made more sense as him falling off the train than it does a house. Why would you... I just don't understand. I just don't get it, I guess. Why would you name a house Skyfall? I don't know. They do mention it earlier in the word association he does with Mallory. When Mallory says Skyfall and he can't, respond to it. I do like, though, when he says M, he says bitch as the word corresponding to it. But when he said Skyfall and he didn't do anything, I thought, because he's remembering he got shot, he fell off the train. That's what I thought Skyfall meant. But it's a house. I think that has a little less meaning when it's a house. But it is in Scotland, which is the heritage that Fleming gave Bond in the books after Connery was cast. Because he felt such respect for him. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, he has Q do a fake breadcrumb trail leading him to Scotland. Silva shows up with a bunch of thugs, but doesn't go the way they planned because he starts lobbing grenades in there and is able to sneak out through a tunnel. Silva follows her. Place gets blown up. The car gets blown up after he uses the rockets, of course. Or the machine gun things, whatever. But the car gets blown up and I went, no! But that's not when I cried. Because Silva has M, and he's going to take the gun, he's going to put a bullet through his head and her head at the same time, but then you hear, and Bond has thrown a knife in Silva's back. And as Silva dies, M falls down, Bond catches her, because she's been wounded earlier in the film by an explosion or something. And the caretaker guy is there. And there's a great scene between Dench and Craig. It's just fantastic. It made me cry. Because it's almost like... Because even Silva keeps calling her mother. And I think, if I remember correctly, in the original script, she was supposed to be his mother, but they took that out. But he keeps calling her mother. And even when they say mom or ma'am, it does sound like they're saying mom. So, yeah, M dies. That's another shocking moment. But, Bond beat the villain, but the villain won. The villain actually won. This is the only Bond film in which the villain actually wins. He kills M. He did what he was supposed to. He did what he was set up to do. The villain won. And so we get a sort of... We get a scene that actually gave me kind of goosebumps when this happened. Because it was so reminded me of the classic Bond films. Even though I just started watching them, it gave me goosebumps. It really did. Because he's talking to Eve. on this bridge thing. They go in the office. She takes off her jacket. She goes around the desk. And he goes, we never really introduced ourselves. And she goes, well, my name is Eve. Eve Moneypenny. And I went, no. Really? Hey, you got me, all right? Nothing against it. I just didn't expect a black Moneypenny. And I should have, but it's fine. Like I said, I'm not against representation if it's not shoved in your face. And it isn't. This was perfect. I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it. But the goosebumps are in there. They do a little flirting. And you gotta think back now to the earlier scene. Because you never know if they actually slept together. And all those times, Moneypenny, I said this in my review for Majesties. Moneypenny was the one, her and Bond flirting. She was the one that got away. Bond and her never sealed the deal. And he gives her his hat or whatever it was. It was the moment. And here it's implied, but did it really happen? You don't know. And I love that. And then, the real goosebumps, he walks in the office, and Mallory is now the new M. So we have Q, Moneypenny, a male M, and the new MI6 office that resembles the old one. It's an older style office, brown color doors. It's the old office. He hands him a mission dossier, and he's like, ready to get the 007? And of course, or something like that. And then we get the gun barrel at the end of the film. And yeah. And I'm going, yeah. Goosebumps all around me. That was classic Bond. You see a day and die another day. That's how you do it. That's how you pay homage to 50 years of Bond. You don't shove a reference in our faces every 10 minutes. You do it like that. That's how you do it. Now, I enjoyed this film, but I wouldn't say it's better than Casino Royale. I think I like that better. It might just be because Martin Campbell directed it and I like the action scenes and stuff. This was a breath of fresh air after Quantum, though. You actually get to be able to see the fight scenes. You're not, constantly trying to figure out what's going on. There's not shaky camera or anything. It's done really well. And I like this. It's probably going to reach my top 10, most likely. Which I've rearranged that thing numerous times now. But this was good. This is how you pay homage to 50 years. This is an anniversary film that works. Die Another Day. Come in. So yes. Oh, I didn't notice. It says, Albert R. Broccoli's Unit Production, Daniel presents Daniel Craig's as Ian Fleming's James Bond 007 Skyfall. And at the bottom it says, Javier Bardem. I didn't realize that was in the bottom. Did they do that? Hold on. Did they do that for the other ones? Like, did this one say Sean Bean? No. This one doesn't say whoever played Dominic Green? No. That's just weird. But yes. This is one of the good ones, folks. Watch Skyfall. It's a good one. So what are your thoughts on Skyfall? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Got one more. One more before No Time to Die. One more. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.